Okay, converting fractions to decimals. So, remember, a fraction has a numerator and a denominator. And in the middle, we have this little fraction bar, which also means to divide. Okay, and that's exactly what we're doing when we're converting fractions to decimals. We take the numerator and we divide it by the denominator. So for 1/4, we're going to take 1 and we're going to divide it by 4. Now 4 will not go into 1, so we add a decimal point and a couple of zeros. Always remember to line your decimal points up. Okay, so 4 will go into 10 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Then we subtract to get 2, and then we bring down a 0. 4 will go into 20 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. We subtract 20 minus 20 is 0, so we have no remainder. So 1/4 is 0.25 or 25 hundredths as a decimal. Now 2/3, again, we have our numerator divided by our denominator. So 2 divided by 3. Again, 3 does not go into 2, so we add a decimal point and some zeros. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. We bring down a 0. We have 3 will go into 20 6 times. 3 times 6 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. We would bring down another 0. And as you can see, the pattern is going to keep repeating. So 2/3 is 0.6 repeating. And we draw that little line over the 6 to show that it repeats forever. So 2/3 is something we called a repeating decimal, and then this one right here, 1/4, is a non-repeating or a terminating decimal. Sometimes we might want to use decimals when we're adding fractions. We've already discussed how if we have unlike denominators, we have to find a like denominator. But some fractions, we already know the decimal forms. These on the side right here, these are some you could probably pick out right away and you probably already have memorized. So it might be easier to convert them to decimals than to find a like denominator. So 1/10 is 0.1 and 1/2 is 0.5. So we could add those together and get 0.6. All right, but be careful because 1/3 is a repeating decimal as well as 1/6. And so we don't want to convert those to decimals just because we won't get a precise answer. So this is a case where you would actually want to find a common denominator. All right, lastly, converting decimals to percents and percents to decimals. So percent literally means per 100. The stem word cent means 100. So when we have a decimal and we want to find the percent, we have to multiply it by 100. So we're multiplying all these decimals by 100. But a quick and easy way to do that is to take that decimal point and move it 2 times to the right. So we're going to move it 2 times to the right. So right here we have move it once, twice. And as you can see, I didn't have anywhere else to go, so I had to go and I add a 0. So it's 10%. Okay, we have 5 hundredths. Again, we're going to move it 1, 2. This time I have 5%. And my last one, move it 1, 2. Again, I have to add that 0, but this time I would have 130%. And it's okay if it's over 100. We do the exact opposite when we're changing percents to decimals. Instead of moving our decimal 2 times to the right, we're going to move it 2 times to the left. So we're going to start right after this 2 and go to the left once, twice. Again, even in reverse, I have to add that 0. So 0.02 or 2 hundredths. 54%. We start right here and go 1, 2. I have 0.54 or 54 hundredths. And lastly, 250%. I start right here and I go 1, 2. It ends up right in between that 2 and that 5. So I have 2.5.